So hello everyone, welcome to Triaright. This is Pack 365. Myself Sujit. So in this session, we are going to learn what is recursion. Okay, so guys, to understand this recursion, we're trying to more focus on our function. Okay, so to create a recursion, every time we are just trying to create a function only. Suppose guys, if my requirement will be, I just want to print 1 to 5 using our function. So how we can do that? So first we need to create a function. So here we can use this for loop. So for value in range, here we need to pass 1 comma 6 because we need up to 5. So every time this function will be generating this number 1 to 5. So every time I just print, still it will be not printing all the things because I am not still calling that. Okay, so now if I'm trying to call this function, it will be generating all the number from 1 to 5. Okay, so this recursion is also saying that it is a process of calling the function within itself. Means if I try to create a function and that function also calling that function, but inside this function only. So also one more things will be that until the given termination, or we can say that false condition becoming true. So to make a recursive function, first we make sure that we are trying to give a false condition and that false condition need to be satisfied at a time. Okay, also we are trying to create a function. Inside this function also we are calling that function inside the function only. So how to do that, we are trying to see now. So now if my requirement will be, I want to print this number 1 to 5. So here, whenever we are trying to deal with our recursion function, so make sure that you can't use your for loop here. Okay, means you cannot use your while loop also. So we can say that we cannot use this for loop. So how to do that? If I'm not generating this number, how to print? By the help of our calling the function inside the function only. So first we need to get a number because we need to start somewhere, because here we are using the range function, that's why it will be generating. But in this recursive function we need to generate by our own. So here first I need to take a parameter, or we can say that positional parameter. After we are creating the function, first make sure that whenever you are trying to create a recursive function, first you need to give a false condition. So my requirement will be, I want to print 1 to 10. So here means my condition will be says that it will be starting from 1 and it will be ending from 10. So here if I'm trying to give the false condition as if my num value double equal to 11. So at that time, I just want to return from here because we are trying to call this function inside the function. So make the controller outside the function, we can send this return keyword. After getting that, we are trying to print every time because we are trying to print 1 to 10. So here we are trying to give that. So still it will function will be not becoming a recursive function because we are only satisfy one condition. That condition is we are trying to give a false condition. So how to calling that function? So guys, here to make it will be like a range. So now we are trying to call that function inside only. So now if I'm trying to call this function, suppose if I'm trying to pass the same number again, so every time it will be print only 1. But I need to update that number. So in this case, I need to update the parameter also. So now whenever my starting num value will be becoming 1, so here it will be checking 1 double equal to 11, means this condition becoming false. So here we need to run this one. Okay, after printing the value, we need to update that number. Then in the second iteration, my number value becoming 2. So 2 double equal to even? No. This condition also becoming false. So now again we are trying to print the num variable. Then we are trying to update this number. So num plus 1. So as of now my num value becoming 2. So 2 plus 1 becoming 3. So again it will be calling the function. Again this condition will be getting checked. So 3 double equal to 11. No, still this condition becoming false. Just like that, until this condition becoming satisfied, till that time we are trying to run this one. So now if I'm trying to run this function, it will be generating the number from 1 to 10. So we can say that as of now, this function will be treated like a recursive function because here we are not using the for loop or while loop. Also, we are give the false condition to stop that. Also, we are trying to call the function inside the function only. So each and every condition becoming satisfied. That's why we can say that the sample function will be treated like a recursive function. So now we are trying to discuss the theoretical point related to our recursion. Okay. So what is this recursion? So guys, recursion is nothing but it is the process of, okay, it is the process of calling the function within itself, means within that particular function, and we are trying to call the function itself until the false condition becoming true. Okay, when this condition becoming true, it will send the controller outside the function. Then we have already the functions are there. Then what is the need of this recursive? So guys, when we are trying to use this recursive function, when we are trying to build the large coding and we are trying to divide the subpart. Okay, suppose if my requirement will be I want to print from 1 to 10. So every time I just want to print 1, then 2. Here I'm just breaking that particular thing. For one function called, one value will be printing. For the second function called, two value will be printing. Just like that. Every time it will be just creating a sub function inside that. Okay. Also, we are make sure that whenever you are trying to use this recursive function, you need to give a base condition to stop. Okay. So then the main difference between this were function will be not taking that much of memory, but our recursion will be taking large memory. Okay, you can give the point to differentiate between our function and a recursive function. Okay, so now we try to add the advantages and the disadvantages for this one. Okay, so the advantages is it reduces the code complexity because here we can directly on calling the function. We are not creating large number of statement. Directly we can calling until the function will be not becoming false. Okay, so this is the first point. Then the second point is when we want to the second point, when you want to when you want to repeat the same task, when you want to repeat the same task or process, okay, we can use recursion. We can use the recursion, okay, recursion at that time. Okay, so now the last point will be we will not use loops on it. Okay, every time we are just try to use the if and else condition. Then what is the demerit, or we can say that disadvantages is memory taking large space. So memory, okay, memory will take lot more space. Okay, and the next demerit is difficult, okay, difficult to backtrack it. Okay, backtrack it because if you are giving a false condition, suppose guys, if I try to use this one as a minus, okay, now if I try to run this one, guys, just see it will printing unlimited time. Okay, minus 9997. Guys, just see in a fraction of time it will printing and giving a error, that recursion error, maximum recursion depth exceed, means until after it will be printing 997 it will be stop automatically. I just see in a fraction of time. Okay, that's right, it will be taking large memory. Also, if I try to give error, it will be create this type of logic. Okay, now we are trying to see the, we can say that syntax for that one. So guys, just see here, we are trying to use the condition as def, because whenever you are trying to create a function, every time you just need this def keyword. After that, you are giving the recursive function name. First, you need to give the false condition. That's why here I am passing if condition. After that, when this condition becoming true, here the termination will be getting activated, and every time we are just try to calling the function inside itself. Here I am passing that one. Okay. Now we are trying to keep the one note point on that. So guys, just see. Try to compare both the things. Okay, this is our simple program and this is our recursive function. Okay, so guys, every recursive function will be a function, but all the function will be not be a recursive function. So suppose if I'm trying to tell the first sample, okay, we can say that the sample one will be a function, but there will be no chance this function will be treated like a recursive function. But this sample will be treated like a recursive function, also a function, because we are using the def keyword. That's why to create a function, we are trying to use the def keyword only. So now we are trying to write in our note point. Okay, so come to our so note point. So what is the note point? All recursive function are functions. Okay, all recursive function are function, but not all functions are recursive function. Okay, so these are the point they can confuse you that. Okay, make sure that you need to understand this one. Okay, so now we are trying to give more example related to this recursion. Okay, so guys, this recursion will be not used in our industry because it will be taking lots of memory. Okay, so but we need to understand because in the interview they might be chance they can achieve. Okay, now guys, my requirement will be I want to from 10 to 1. Okay, so how to do that we are trying to see now. So first we are just try to create a function. So here I am creating a function called sample. So it will be taking one mandatory argument, or we can say that positional argument, that is called our num. Okay, so first we are trying to print until 1. So here if I'm passing, if the number value becoming 0, I need to return my controller outside the function. If this condition becoming false, so every time I just need to print the number only. Okay, after printing, every time I just need to call the function to becoming a recursive function. Every time we are just try to call that function again and again inside until this condition becoming true. Okay, still it will be not calling. So after each and everything will be completed, now I try to call this function. So now if I try to run this one, first so here it will be taking error because we are not passing argument. Guys, just see here we are taking a variables, but we are not passing. So now if I try to give starting from 1, it will only giving me 1 because after that it will be giving. But my requirement will be I want to from starting 10 to 1. So here I need to pass my first value will be 10. Okay, guys, just see. Now if I try to run this one, it will be printing from 10 to 1. Why? Whenever I am passing 1, why it will be printing only 1? Because first it will be checking 1 double equal to 0. This condition becoming false, so it will be directly printing the number. After that, it will be updating num minus 1. So as of now, my num variable will be 1. So 1 minus 1 becoming 0. Then here we are just trying to call that function. So here it will be again calling. So 0 double equal to 0. This condition becoming satisfied. So here it will return that control flow outside the function. So means our control flow will come to this 21 line. So this is the simply logic to print from 10 to 1. Okay. Now the next question for this session is write a recursive function. Okay, write a recursive function to print even number in a given range. Even number in a given range. So guys, we know how to check how to check a number is a even or not. Now we are trying to taking care about that because we are trying to use the recursive function. So make sure that every time we are just try to give a false condition or a to stop that. So first, if I'm taking my starting value will be 1 and my ending value will be 20 because we are not using the loops. So we are trying to create this range by own. So first we are trying to create a function. So here I am creating a function called event, and here we are not passing the for loop. That's why we are passing this value because this value will be treated like a loops here only. So how to do that we are trying to see now. So here it will be taking two mandatory argument that is called our start and end. After it will be getting the both the things, now we are trying to thinking about our false condition. Means we are trying to understand which condition I need to give that it becoming false. So suppose if I'm trying to pass this logic, if my starting value double equal to n plus 1 means when my number value means the starting value will be greater than equal to 20, I need to stop because I need to check until the 20. So that's why it will be every time the start value we need to increment. We don't need to increment the end because we are fixed that we are starting from 1 until the 20. That's why here I am passing n plus 1 when this condition becoming satisfied. So here I just want to return that controller outside. If this condition becoming false, so every time I just need to check this number will be even or not. So as of now, my value will be stored in our start because we are trying to check the start value because this value will be generating every time. Guys, right? When this condition becoming true, every time we just try to print the start. Okay, if this condition becoming false, so now we are trying to call this function. So here also it will be taking two mandatory argument. First argument is called our start and the second one will be called our end. So here our end will be fixed, but we are trying to change this one every time. Okay, now if I'm passing one, so it will be checking for unlimited time, but we are trying to stop this one. So here I need to pass start plus 1 comma end. Now the function will be generating all the even number. So now we are trying to check in our VS Code. Okay, so here I am taking start variable. So here it will be taking user input. So int input. So here enter the start number. After getting the start number, I need to take the end number. So here I am passing int of input. Enter the okay. So enter the end number. After getting both the number, I just want to create a recursive function. So to make a recursive function, every time we are just try to pass the false condition first. Okay, so here I need to pass start double equal to end plus 1, or we can use another condition as start greater than end. Both are same only. Okay, after getting this, when this condition becoming true, I need to send the controller outside the function. If this condition becoming false, so here I need to check this condition as if start modular division to double equal to 0, every time we just print that value. So here I need to print start. After when this value will be not an even number, I just want to update that, or we can say that call that function again. So here I need to call this function every time we are just trying to update the start value. After becoming updating value, I just need to call this function outside because if we are not calling this function until all the statements are not even getting executed. So after creating this function, now here I am trying to call this one. So first it will be taking two input from user. After it will taking, so here I am passing 1 up to 20. So okay, so guys, here we are missing two parameters. So here we are trying to pass start comma end. Make sure that if I'm accepting some value, we need to pass that, okay, when you are calling the function. This is called our parameter also, okay. So now if I'm passing 1 to 20, it will be printing only odd number. If I want to the odd number, so here you can give start modular division to double equal to 1. If I try to pass the range also, it will give me, so 1 comma 20, it will be give me all the odd number, okay. So this is the way we can create a recursive function to print all the even number in a given range. So make sure that every time you just need to taking care about this false condition. After giving the false condition, automatically you can get this logic, because the even logic will be know that if the number will be modular division with 2 and give the remainder value as 0, okay. So that's all for this session. Thanks for watching Triaright.